Hello and welcome to How to Fix It. Let's talk about American adaptations of British television series. Now, we've already looked at one on this show, Red Dwarf USA, which was pretty terrible. Now, before you go rushing to the comments to tell me about how American adaptations of British shows always suck, allow me to direct your attention to The Office, All in the Family, and Sanford and Son, which all three are TV classics and are originally based off of a British series. So no, they don't all suck. Just most of them do. We only have more failures because we actually try to adapt foreign series. But there is a very specific series that I would like to look at today. Life on Mars. Life on Mars was a show that I watched when I was younger, and while it only ran for one season, I thought it was pretty damn good. But I do want to see why it only got one season, and other issues it might have had. So, let's get to it. Life on Mars had a really interesting premise. Sam Tyler, a police detective in 2008, played by Jason O'Mara, is on the trail of a pedophile. His partner Maya ends up getting kidnapped by that pedophile, and when he's about to catch him, he's hit by a car. He wakes up unscathed except for the fact that he has seemingly time traveled to the year 1973. But it's not like regular time travel, because he exists in 1973 as a police detective, but also as a kid when he grew up. He spends the episodes trying to find his way home and navigating the 70s as a cop without internet, cell phones, or DNA testing. Other characters include Lieutenant Gene Hunt, commander of the 125th Precinct, where Sam worked in 2008 and in 1973. Detective Ray Carling, an arrogant and condescending detective who resents Sam for getting the job that he believes that he deserved. Detective Chris Skelton, a naive young detective who is more willing to listen to Sam's ramblings than the others. And Annie Norris, a policewoman nicknamed No Nuts because she is a woman and the 70s were sexist. She's the only one that Sam has revealed his time-traveling story to and is willing to believe it after he saves her life with future knowledge. Supporting characters include Wendy, his hippie neighbor, and Frank Morgan, an FBI agent who knows that Sam is from 2008. The show's episodes were standard police stories, but usually involved Sam's 21st century knowledge or sensibilities coming into play. He is plagued by hallucinations of 2008 and longs to return to it, even as he begins to get used to 1973. He even breaks the laws of time and runs into his parents, Vic and Rose Tyler. And if you think that the name of his mother is an amazing coincidence, it's not. It was intentional on the part of the creators. The show is a bunch of funny homages to the 70s and funny anachronistic humor, when Sam tries to use technology from 2008 that either doesn't exist yet or doesn't exist in the form it will be in 2008. It also has Sam trying to uncover why his father left his mother and him when he was a kid, which is also the focus of the finale. The premise is pretty damn interesting. Time travel via car crash and always wondering if he's actually there or in a coma. I liked this show from the moment I saw the first commercial. Plus, as far as cop shows go, this is one of the ones that I found most enjoyable. I like the 70s aesthetic, and it's nice to see a cop show work without DNA testing, and all the stuff that makes modern cops' lives so easy, especially when one of those cops is so used to that modern technology. Overall, it was a good show, but there were a couple of aspects that hurt it. Well, there was a 2-month hiatus in the middle of the first season, which is pretty much what killed it. They also switched the time slot and basically gave the show a death sentence, which is a shame because it was a really good show. But what about some non-behind-the-scenes issues? The big one is the ending, which in my opinion was terrible and really rushed. Basically, here's your spoiler warning for this show and the British version. If you want to experience those for yourself, stop watching now and come back after you've watched them. Okay, so the American version ends with Sam finally returning to the future. But not the 2008 future. We learn that the entire series took place in a virtual reality unit on board a spaceship in the year 2035. And all the people that he met in 1973 were alternate versions of the ship's crew, with the actual versions having very similar personalities. The ship hit an asteroid on its way to Mars, which causes Sam's VR unit to malfunction. You see, he originally programmed it to allow him to live the life of a 2008 cop, which means, and this is good, everyone from 2008 didn't exist at all. You know Maya, his partner who was kidnapped and we were worried about her for the whole season? She didn't exist. She was a computer program. And Sam's daddy issues? Oh, get this. It's because his father is an astronaut on the mission, Major Tom Tyler. Yeah, the one from David Bowie's Space Oddity, who is, and I bet you'll love this, Lieutenant Gene Hunt's future counterpart. And he is the commander of the ship, and Skelton and Carling are other astronauts. Wendy is the ship's AI, and Morgan is the mission control specialist. You can see why this pissed me off. It's so rushed and kind of dumb. Now for context, here's the ending to the British version. In the second series, it's revealed that Sam is indeed in a coma in 2008. He has a tumor and the surgeons are trying to remove it. And they do, bringing Sam home. But Sam grew accustomed to the 70s and left during a point where his team was in danger, choosing to jump off the roof of the police station to return, implying that these 70s are some sort of cop purgatory or heaven or something. The creators left it ambiguous, leading to the sequel series Ashes to Ashes. In this, another cop, who was studying Sam's suicide, is shot and wakes up in 1981, meeting Hunt, Carling, and Skelton. This ending is cerebral and really smart. It's interesting, and while I wouldn't have wanted the American version to end on the exact same note as the British one, because then it would have just been a rehash, something like that is better than, oh hey look, space! I think it's pretty obvious for this one. Change the ending. Perhaps Sam's experiences were the result of the hospital room he is in playing non-stop 70s cop dramas, so that's what he imagines. Or maybe he returns to the future and all the 70s people exist, and he knew of them in passing, like seeing a photo of them at the police station in 2008. There were so many ways to do it, and the way they did it wasn't the right way. I also wouldn't have plopped a 2-month hiatus in the middle of it too. Overall, it wasn't a bad show. The writing was pretty solid, and the premise was a lot more interesting than a lot of what was airing at the time. I watched this show when I was 13. My interests were more tuned into cartoons than anything else at the time, but I was so interested in this show.
When my time is done, they will say, he has been here. Of this I am sure.
ABC's Life on Mars.
That was Life on Mars. An overall interesting show that didn't get what it deserved, like all those other amazing single-season shows like Firefly and Freaks and Geeks. But is still an overall interesting watch. It's on Netflix, only as DVDs, but it's there, along with the British series. And maybe you'll like it as much as I did. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more How to Fix It, you can hit that subscribe button. And if you like, you can leave a comment in the box below. And if you like this video, show it to your friends and share it around. I'll see you next time.